This video is going to cover the topic of integers. Be sure the date and topic are at the top of your page. The essential question for this video will be, what vocabulary do we need to describe negative numbers? We've worked a lot this year with whole numbers. Whole numbers are all the counting numbers and the value of 0. Whole numbers are things like 1, or 5, or 12, or 99. These are all examples of whole numbers. 44.5 is not a whole number. Whole numbers are also positive. With the exception of 0, all whole numbers are positive. The positive whole numbers that we've used in the past are all to the right of 0 on a number line. So these are all our positive numbers. But we can extend the number line in the other direction. Right? We can also move to the left of 0. If we move to the left, these are our negative numbers. To describe these numbers, we need a little bit more vocabulary. The first word we need to know is opposite. Every number has an opposite. These are numbers that are the same distance from 0, but in the opposite direction. Let's take a look at a number line. I'm going to start by putting 0 and a few whole numbers on it. Let's just go from 0 up to 5. I'm then going to extend it to the left with negative numbers, starting with -1 down to -5. On this number line, we have some opposites. 4 is the opposite of -4. They are both the same number of spaces away from 0, right? 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces from 0, and -4 is also 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away from 0. I could pick another one here, right? 2 is the opposite to -2. Now that we know whole numbers and opposite, we can look at the word integer. All whole numbers and their opposites together are called integers. That means that the number -4 is an integer, but the number 5.5 is not, because it's not a whole number. 0 is actually an integer, and as a fun little fact, it's the only integer that is neither positive nor negative. Absolute value is a way that we measure the distance of numbers, right, of integers. The absolute value measures the distance a number is from 0. And because it is a distance, it cannot be negative. If we look at our number line here, and we look at the number 5, we can know that the absolute value of 5 is 5, because it is 5 spaces away from 0. The absolute value of -5 is also 5, because it is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces away from 0. In fact, all opposites have the same absolute value. We use a very specific symbol for absolute value, and it looks like this. It looks like 2 straight lines. So what that would look like would be, let's say, the absolute value of -9. Well, that's 9 spaces away from 0, so that would be 9. The absolute value of 22 is 22 spaces of 0, so that would be 22. In both cases, regardless of the fact that one integer was negative and one was positive, the absolute value was positive. The last term we have here is rational number, and a rational number is any number that could be written as a ratio, right? Here's the word ratio right in there. You might also think of it as any number that could be written as a fraction. Right? The integer 2 is a rational number because it could be written as 2 divided by 1, 2 over 1. Right? Also, 3/4 is a rational number because it can be written as a fraction. So all integers are by default rational numbers. However, not all rational numbers are integers. So remember, this video was a lot of vocabulary, right? That's all it really was. We wanted to figure out what vocabulary we need to be able to describe working with negative numbers. We saw whole numbers, opposites, integers, absolute value, and rational numbers. We'll be applying this vocabulary as we go forward with this material. In the meantime, here are just 3 practice questions for you. I'd like you to record the value each of these 3 as a way to sort of practice and reinforce some of the vocabulary that we just reviewed.